All right, let's start with Thursday Night Football. Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. The Eagles are favored by 7.5 here, coming off of their first loss. And this is what I'm talking about with the emotional, psychological element of
How do
football.
they handle adversity?
Yeah, how do you handle your first loss? You're sitting there, you're sleepwalking through a 17-3 game, and then before you know it, it's 18-17 and 21-17, and it's over. And the Eagles lose their first game. How do they bounce back from that here, heading into Week 6? 7.5-point favorites over the Giants, who are completely depleted. Not only missing Malik Neighbors for the season at receiver, you've got Darius Slayton banged up. So Jackson Dart's third start, dealing with a lot of backup wide receivers on his depth chart here.
They might be getting Tyrone Tracy back, though, in the backfield. He was, I think, off the injury report for the first time since he hurt his shoulder.
Yeah, you don't want to steal any. You don't want to steal any carries from Scott.
Well, no, but as long as you have no wide receivers and a quarterback who they seem to think is Cam Newton, then you might as well just load up with a full option backfield and roll Tracy, Scatterboo, and Jackson Dart out and just say, stop this.
That I would consider it.
We're running Navy triple option, and we want to see you stop it.
That was there was that Thursday night game when Jacoby Brissett had to start for the Patriots. And he's not even the most mobile guy, but the Patriots were like, all right, we're running triple option because it's a short week and they can't prepare for this, so let's do it. I mean, that's the type of thing the Giants could pull out here if Tracy's back.
That's what I'm saying.
I like it.
Why not?
And Scatterboot, do you see that lead block he had last week?
Yeah. Was that Granderson that he buried?
I don't know.
It was a defensive lineman anyway.
I detested the Scatterboo Mike Allstott comps coming out of the during draft time. However, there are some Allstott-like plays out there. And the fact that he's lead blocking, because Scatterboo can, in college, he was lining up out wide and catching the ball, and they were using him in Wildcat, and he's throwing it. He's not just this big, bruising running back. But there are some Mike Allstott-like plays out there for Scatterboo. So, So Giants are going to run the triple option.
Why not?
Jalen Hyatt, Bo Collins, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yikes.
That's the group. Theo Johnson's done some nice things, second year tight end. But that's the group that we're talking about with Jackson Dart.
Yeah. And Jackson Dart's already not set the world on fire from a passing point of view. So, yeah, I mean, if the Giants want to keep this close, you would imagine this has to be a very run-focused game plan. Maybe not Navy triple option style, but still. It's got to be run the ball. It's got to be try and extend drives. It's got to be use Jackson Dart's legs and hope you have enough in the passing game to just pick up some first downs.
Other thing that's interesting, I'll mention the Giants' defensive line every single week from now until the rest of the season because they're a major factor in this whole thing. Every team's defensive line, but this is the line that has a chance to take over. I thought last week in particular, the Saints just got rid of the ball quickly. It was Spencer Rattler. Quick game, getting rid of the ball. It kind of negated what that defensive line was able to do. That is not the Eagles' game.
No.
And so they do have a chance. I remember during the offseason, we're ranking, best defensive lines, best units, whatever it may have been. And it's like, Giants' defensive line might be better than the Eagles' defensive line. And this could be one of those statement type of games. Hurts is going to drop back deep, try to get the ball down the field, as he did last week. You'll have a chance to make an impact with Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Abdul Carter. So that is, I think the Giants' defensive line has a chance to be a much bigger factor this week than they were last week. And then on the other side, this Eagles offense that we keep saying, look, they've got explosive plays. Their down-to-down success rate's not great. They haven't gotten the run game going. You've got the Saquon Barkley factor going back playing the Giants again. There's a lot of good storylines here for this short week division game, even though it's 7.5 points. Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action.
No, there are. The Giants' defensive line. So I think on offense, they need to figure out how to run the ball and try and keep just shorten the game that way. On defense, I think that defensive line could absolutely be a factor. And as you say, the Eagles have a very good offensive line still, but they play the game in a way that does kind of set up for defensive lines to make an impact. They're going to give you opportunities to make those plays, and whether it's Abdul Carter, whether it's Dexter Lawrence, those guys could make a game-changing play to steal a drive as well.
What else are we looking at here as far as Eagles Giants. I mean, the Philly storyline too is AJ Brown. We just played our
Squeaky wheel game.
Did I put that in my notes?
Nick Sirianni's a big squeaky wheel kind of guy, but this was already squeaky wheel heading into last week's game, and it didn't exactly go that way.
No, it's a good point. It's just like when does it happen? The Eagles' game plan last week too. I did see the stat that backed up the perception. I think it was pass rush over expectation or pass over expectation numbers. How often did they pass relative to the league? Relative to expectation. And the Eagles have always been one of the most run-heavy teams. But in a game where they were up 7 at the half and then up 14 first drive into the second half, it was the most pass-heavy game that they've had. I mean, I don't actually need this advanced stat. You could just see Jalen Hurts drop back like 40 times. Saquon carried it 6 times.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that was. And I don't know if that was, hey, this is just how we're attacking Denver because they're going to load the box and they're going to but it's actually not how I would attack Denver that likes to rush 5, that likes to blitz, create some mismatches, that has a fierce pass rush. That's not how I would attack them. I would attack them with the run game. So I do wonder where the Eagles come out on this one as far as do they get more quick passes involved. They're very college-y in the fact that all of their targets are either up to 5 yards or beyond 20. There's a lot of college offenses that do that, right? It's either super short stuff, quick hitches and screens, or we're going deep. And that 5 to 15 or 5 to 20 yard range is not available. This is one of the stories for me all year for this Eagles offense. If they want to be completely well-rounded, you got to find that short, intermediate pass game to complement the deep game and get the run game going as well.
Yeah, I mean, Saquon Barkley talked about this was the first sort of real adversity they faced this year, and he was talking about basically they lost the game for the first time. But there's a lot that they need to figure out generally, like that, why they went away from Saquon Barkley in the run game in a situation where normally teams would be running more, how this passing offense keeps stalling out in every single game, why A.J. Brown is not getting the football, even though he's one of the most physically dominant wide receivers in the NFL, the fact that that's starting to piss him off. Like all these things are things that the Eagles need to work through almost independent of the fact that they lost a game and, they need to get back to winning ways. They need to get all that onto the right track.
And until we have more information on this season, I think it's fair to point out the last 2 Eagle seasons that we've cited a ton here. 2023, when they started 10-1, including huge wins over good teams. They beat the Chiefs that year, the eventual Super Bowl champions. They beat the Bills that year, and then collapsed in the second half and looked nothing like they did in the first half. But there were some first half signs, winning a whole bunch of 3-point games, not having the same dominance that they had the previous year. There may have been some warning signs in that 10-1 start. Then last year, we sat there with the same kind of caution, like, hey, they're going to collapse again, but instead they peaked, right? Instead they turned it around. Not even turned it around. They just defense got better. Offense was cooking and finding different ways to win every week. Which way does this Eagles season go? I think is going to be one of the big stories in the NFC this year. Because obviously I don't care that they just lost. Obviously they're among the best teams in the NFC. They're right there with the best teams. There's a disgusting bug here.
Yeah?
Stink bug right up in my face. Just caught it in my peripheral vision.
How do those things get everywhere?
They're the absolute worst. I'm going to go get a paper towel and crush this thing. So
nice.
Why don't you monologue for a minute before this thing. I'll be right back.
Have you got a pick on this game?
I'm taking the Eagles.
Taking the Eagles. Okay. I'm taking the Giants, actually, to cover this. You are taking the Eagles.
I'm going off camera.
And your son is also taking the Eagles. This was one of those games where, like, the Eagles are one of the teams on my Survivor options that I haven't picked, haven't burned. But I didn't like a short week against a division opponent when they have so much to work out, They maybe have won most of their games, but they don't have a particularly strong point differential. They haven't been doing tremendously well for most of these games. So I'm a little bit leery about the Eagles. I think they'll win, but I don't know if it'll be that comfortable.
That thing's disgusting. We're back. I think it's a stink bug, right? And then they let off this scent that attracts more. So we're gonna get it out. We got to get it out of here. I'm gonna put it in someone else's studio over here.
Okay.
So I'm taking the Eagles. Harry's taking the Eagles. You got the Giants to cover this. It's gonna be a fun Thursday night football game. Good.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?